couldn't do it anymore. I thought, I'm giving too much, I'm getting nothing back. I am who I am. I'm not a disrespectful person. I'm the most loyal person you'll ever meet. Like, anyone who knows me knows I don't cheat. I think she's had a much fairer edit than maybe she was, to be honest with you.
So I'm sure it's a question you probably get a lot, but why did you sign up for Married at First Sight?
It was actually, the show reached out to me for a couple of years on the bounce, and I contemplated it first, and I thought, I don't know if I'd be good for reality TV. I say things off the cuff too easy. And then I thought, it was actually, I'd gone into my old job. I was working for somebody at the time. I was heading up a part of their business, and I handed my notice in and said, I want to go on my own. I want to start my own consultancy business, support me. I was working for them for 10 years. And I came out of that and I had 4 missed calls from the production. They were like, we want to get you into the show. What have we got to do to get you on? I thought, it just all happened. So I believe in like the universe doing things like that. And I think it just happened. I just thought, I need to follow it. My friend's like, you need to do it. And I wanted to meet someone. I wanted to find someone who was perfectly matched to me. And I thought, if that show is going to do that, icing on the cake.
And so what did you ask the production team, the experts, what was it you had asked for?
So my list was someone who wakes up happy in the mornings. That's really important because I bounce out of bed. Someone who is adventurous, someone who's family orientated, like a loyal person, like caring nature. Someone who likes to travel, likes to do spontaneous things. And looks-wise, it was always like dark hair, like dark features, like a little bit of something in them. Be careful, actually. Yeah, that kind of look, really. I'm not really into like dead girly girls with like loads of makeup and stuff. So yeah, that's what I asked for.
And so in hindsight, and what audience have seen so far, do you think the experts did a good job in pairing you with Lee?
I think they've done a good job in terms of, we've probably got similarities in terms of loyalty. We're both family orientated. We both have the same morals. In terms of, she's got a banter about her, but I'm probably a bit too, I take the piss a lot, and it doesn't always land with her. She's a lot more serious than I am. She's not very adventurous, so she doesn't really like to do spontaneous things. She's scared of flying as well, which was a big thing for me because I'd go on loads of holidays every year and I love travelling. And yeah, I did say I wanted someone into fitness, and she doesn't really do that. But yeah, I could see why they'd matched us. We're both fiery characters, so I think it was more of a case of maybe teaching us both that someone needs to back down, someone needs to like change the way they are. And I felt like I was the person that had to do that in that relationship.
Absolutely. And what we've seen, you went into it very optimistic.
Yeah.
I feel like the wedding day and the honeymoon, from what we saw, it was quite trying at times.
Yeah.
I guess, what was that like, I guess, from what we haven't seen, of just, was it a lot of the time kind of speaking to a brick wall at times?
When Leah and I first saw each other, we knew we weren't each other's type. You know, she goes for more masculine girls. I just go for girls that aren't really like her. But I wanted to really try for the experiment because I thought, I've risked so much to do this. I wanted to see all the positives as to why we'd been matched. And initially I could. And then we got to the honeymoon and we did have a lot of nice chats off camera, I will say that. But it was testing, you know, it was what you see is what was happening. You know, I don't believe in bad edits. There's been things that have happened on my side as well with all this Leisha stuff and stuff, which I could cry a bad edit, but I just think the producers have all done a very good job in narrating the story. It was testing for me, definitely.
It's really interesting what you say about bad edit, because I feel like what we see with reality TV, I think MAFS specifically, it is a lot of, oh, you know, I haven't been shown in the best light, but do you kind of see it as like, well, we all said what we said at the end of the day?
It's not AI. We all say what we say, we all do what we do. So there is things that they can change in terms of, like, you may have said that then, they'll make it sound like you've said it then and stuff, but the majority of the stuff you see is real. And I didn't think it would be like that either. You know, I'm not a big reality TV watcher, but I didn't believe that it was going to be so real. I didn't believe the story would be so real. I thought we'd get told to say stuff. We don't. From a watcher's point of view watching it, it shouldn't always be all this bad press and negativity. If there's a bad edit, that's me in a bad light. I don't think I got shown as my persona, my personality, really, because there's all a lot of serious chats in there. But I do believe it's been a very fair edit for a lot of people.
Interesting. And I guess going back a bit, if we can talk about the honeymoon, I know there was Lee did get quite a lot of negative opinions from people watching. And she did share loads of photos and videos where you guys were having a laugh and you were having a good time. So do you think what we saw was fully representative, given sort of the other side she sort of has shown?
I feel like we did have good times, but I do feel like it would have been a little bit more respectful if she would have said, you know what, I've watched myself back and actually hold my hands up. I do need to be a little bit more lenient with a stranger, given that I'm doing a TV show about marrying a stranger. I would have had a lot more respect for that. There was good times, of course, but there was a lot of them times as well. And I think how the producers have shown it's quite fair.
Yeah. But I mean, now, can you kind of look back and laugh? I think during some of the honeymoons, I was giggling at times, just kind of where you're talking and she's just like, nope. Like, can you look back and laugh and see the sort of hilarity of it?
At the time I was like, God, this is hard work. What am I actually going to do here? Like, I felt like I could give this girl like everything in the world. She would never be happy. So yeah, I look back on it and how I look back on it and I think, why did I not say this? Why did I not say that? Why did I not stick up for myself there? Or maybe like, why was I trying so hard? But I think when you're in this bubble and you want something to work so bad, you want to give it 100%. And I think we've both gone into an experiment knowing we're marrying a stranger, knowing it's going to take a lot of push and give, especially when we're not each other's type. And I feel like I was doing that. And then, it got to a point in the experiment where I was like, you know what, sod this. Like, I can't keep giving. But yeah, I think we're both shown in a light of realism.
Yeah. And on that point of you can't keep giving, that was obviously something quite for a few of the commitment ceremonies where you kind of both said your piece. Do you think, I guess, at what point in the commitment ceremonies did you find, or in the experiment as a whole, where a curve really did shift, as we have sort of seen that?
I can't remember which episode it is, but it's when she kind of had a realisation on the couch that actually maybe she needs to let her walls down a little bit more and maybe she's been a little bit too tough on me. It was after all the Beck saga, Beck-gate of me fancying Beck, apparently. Like, Beck's one of my closest friends in there. I'm so close to her. She's so like me, with same humour. Don't really think you get to see Beck's humour in there. She's actually quite funny. But like, that was all a load of crap, in my opinion. Like, nothing, you didn't see any flirting, it didn't happen. But at the same time, I think Lee realised she was being a little bit too hard on me. And at that commitment ceremony she opened up, that's what I needed. I needed her to just be a little bit more open to maybe who I am. It was a lot of me changing things, a lot of like hair boundaries, what she needs respect. And I was just like going along with it, like this little lapdog, like, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, okay. And I look back now and I think, no, you know, I should have set a few boundaries as well.
Absolutely. And I think you did mention, I knew you were on a podcast where you sort of had said at that point you kind of felt that your time in the experiment, it was kind of just up for you. In that, was that sort of around that time before it had shifted?
Yeah, so it was before in-laws week. I got to, it was about week 3, I was like, I can't do this no more. I had a one-to-one with the psych and I wasn't even going to stay for the commitment ceremony. I said, I'm sorry, I can't do it. Like, she's actually hard work. Like, I think she's had a much fairer edit than maybe she was, to be honest with you, but like, I struggled a lot with her, and I think I just couldn't do it anymore. I thought, I'm giving too much, I'm getting nothing back. And then it was when my friend came in on in-laws week and she kind of reminded me who I was, and you know, she witnessed the whole argument and how she spoke to me, and she was just like, this is not okay, like, I can tell you're not okay. And at that point I wanted to burst into tears on camera. I didn't want to cry on camera, but I was like, I knew I wasn't okay. But after seeing Paula, it did make me realise that, I've got my mojo back a little bit. I'm going to keep giving it a go. And then, yeah, just kept trying, really.
And was it at that in-laws week? So, because I know you guys don't get to speak, obviously, much with the outside world. So was that the first time, perhaps since the wedding, where you sort of had someone external? Yeah,
and Paula was my bridesmaid, so she'd done a speech. It didn't actually get to show the speech, but it was absolutely lovely. Like, she's done an amazing speech. I was squirming in my seat. That's the most thing I was nervous about the whole thing, was her speech. Because she's like the typical best man, you know, they throw the men under the bus. Yeah. So I was squirming with that.
So we didn't see that. Are there any parts from the wedding day, if we go back a bit, that didn't make
Loads.
the cut?
Like, you didn't see, my mum and dad flew over from Cyprus. That was quite a big deal, to be honest. You didn't see like a lot of the stuff gone on between Leah and I at the table. Like, I was asking a lot of questions. I was mingling with her family. She's got a lovely family. And yeah, the speech was the most vital part for me because it was so lovely, but also had me squirming, made me cry. Like there was so much going on with it. So it was a shame that wasn't on the show.
And how long is the wedding day? Because I know it can go on. Is it longer than the dinner parties or the commitment ceremonies? Oh, really?
So the dinner parties, we can be filming from 7 a.m. till like 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning. The wedding, I was up at 6 a.m., started doing all the getting ready scenes from then. Then we went to bed at 4:30 and I got put in that dungeon. So I was like... I was already fuming. It was so late. I was so tired. It was like in this old hotel as well, where our honeymoon suite was. 3 flights of stairs, no lift. I'm tired. It's 4:30. We've been on camera all day. Just want to go to bed. No, we've still got to create one more scene of like the going to bed scene. So I'm thinking, right, we'll get up to the top, do this scene, get in pajamas, have a shower, go to bed. I get to the top, and then she's like, oh yeah, I feel more comfortable if you don't sit in the room. And what I did say, which you don't say on camera, I was like, why did you not tell me that 3 flights of stairs ago? Like...
Was there no lift?
No! So I was more fuming about that. Respect, fine, you don't want to sleep with me, I'm not going to jump on you. Like, I could have slept in the same bed as you. It's not a big deal to me, but fine, if she wants space, whatever. But yeah, tell me 3 flights of stairs ago off camera so I don't have to do that. I'm so tired.
Gosh. So I feel like a talking point amongst like loads of fans is how long these commitment ceremonies are. I mean, not even just the UK one, the Australian one, like they're just so long. How do you keep up the energy?
Lots of sweets.
Okay.
Haribos. They have a lot of Haribos in there, and that's like constantly feeding us sugar, I think. They do look after us, like the welfare. I've said it in a few interviews now, like the welfare's been so good, and that's what I was a little bit reluctant about, was going in like the care. Do they look after you? Are they going to edit you bad? Are they going to do this? But like I said before, like the edit is what you say, and they look after you like every day, check in twice a day. They're on the phone. You've got third-party psychs there. So in terms of how long the actual period is for filming, it's a shift. I feel like I've grafted for like 2.5 months, the hardest I've ever worked in my life. But like they do look after you, and they keep planning your food, drink. Do you need sweets? Do you want this? So you have breaks. So it's not bad. It's not really bad. It's just a long day.
Yeah. And I mean, but amidst that, what's it like navigating when drama does arise? I think we've not really seen you or Lee we've not seen you really sort of like in the throes of it. I know Lee in, the last couple of weeks with the whole Julia Ruth and Davani situation. What's it sort of like when your partner is part of an argument, for example? How do you sort of find that balance?
Do you know what it is for me? Like on the outside world, I'm not a confrontational person. I don't get in people's business. I don't care about drama. I'm not involved in drama. I certainly wouldn't be talking about my friends' relationships either. And that show is like you're amongst it because you're in it. But I personally keep my nose out. I don't like getting involved in people's business. And I know she does. And she wants to stand up for what's right and this, that and the other. But sometimes just shut up. You don't need to. Do you know what I mean? Like just focus on our relationship. And I did say that a couple of times to her. I was like, and I know a lot of the other couples said it to her too. Like, you have got a lot to say about other people's relationships. We'll focus on our relationship, like we're in it together. So yeah, sometimes it was a bit annoying for me because I don't want to get involved. I don't care to get involved. Don't get me wrong, if someone kicked off on her, I'd stick up for her. If something didn't sit right with me, I'd say it. And I'm never going to be one to sit quiet, but I also know when to speak and know when not to speak and know when not to get involved. And yeah, I think for me it was a bit of it's a fine line, because I think if our relationship was blossoming and we were intimate and we had this amazing relationship and then she was given all this advice, that's fine. But let's work on us first.
So looking back on the experiment, have you learned anything about yourself?
Yes, I've learned I'm more patient than I ever thought I was. Like, Paul interviewed me before I went in and he said, I feel like you're the type of person that if you don't like something, you're going to get off. And he was bang on, he was so right. And I said to him, I promise you now, I will be patient, I'll put my full heart into it, I'll wear my heart on my sleeve, and I'll be vulnerable. I'm not a very vulnerable person usually, and I definitely was vulnerable in that. So me coming out, learning how patient I can be, and vulnerability has been a lot easier than I thought it was. And there's been a lot of other things I've learned about myself, which I will talk about in time, which is really interesting, and I'm so excited to be able to talk about it at some point. But yeah, I'm really grateful for the show. I'm really grateful for the people in it and the producers and everything that's kind of come together, because there's been a lot of positives for me coming out of that.
Absolutely. And so do you find that the experts really did help you in those commitment ceremonies, not necessarily just with your relationship with Lee, but also within yourself?
Yeah, because I said this earlier as well, there's a lot of people that have seen a lot of stigma around the experts and are the experts because they've matched this and matched that. At the end of the day, the experts match you with what they think you need. And I could see why they matched Leah and I together. I can understand it. She's absolutely not someone I'd ever get with, and vice versa, but I could understand. And it's all about the psychology as well. It's not just about, I asked for dark hair, I didn't get it. She's not into fitness, I didn't get it. You've got to look beyond that and think, why have we been matched? And it's so interesting that each commitment ceremony, they open up the door to that. And they're like, well, actually, Lee, you know, this, you might need to learn on that. But Leah, the reason you're like this is because... And it's actually really interesting, the whole thing. It's like having therapy for like 2.5 months. So it is, yeah, you do learn a lot from them.
Absolutely. And I mean, given the chance for what we've seen so far, do you want any do-overs from your time in the experiment?
I think what I would have liked to see, because there's a lot missed out, probably my personality. Like, I am a fun, bubbly, jokey character 24/7. I look at myself and I think, I actually feel sorry for myself watching it, and my family and my friends who know me are like, oh, that's actually making me feel a bit sad watching you, because I know I lost myself in there. Like, I lost my persona, I lost who I was. So I'd like probably to be able to see more of my personality, but I suppose it's who you're with, it's the people that are around you. Has that changed my personality? And you've got to look at it at different angles, but I think probably what I would do over is the whole Leisha scene. So for me, I'm joking, I'm you know, buying into the producers, I'm taking out the date cards, and it's all in jest, it's all from my side very funny, Leisha as well, like we're just having a joke, but how it's landed, how it's produced, I've said all of those things, I've done all those things, but how it's produced makes it look a little bit worse than it was. However, I also think the way they've produced it's really funny. I do think it was a funny scene, and it's an entertainment programme, and they got entertained.
Absolutely. I mean, that leads me on to my next question. We do have to talk about, there was Rebecca-gate, there's kind of Leisha-gate. I mean, where do you stand with Leisha now? Just friends?
Oh, friends?
Yeah.
It was never anything like that. Like, Lee knew the whole time that as well. Like, Lee knew we were just friends. I think there's bits where certain people play up to cameras and stuff, I think. So, but I am who I am. Like, I'm not a disrespectful person. I'm the most loyal person you'll ever meet. Like, anyone who knows me knows I don't cheat and stuff like that. So I think where I need to probably rein it in is sometimes maybe not joke so much with certain people, especially probably not on camera to the nation to see. But just who I am, I don't think it's that bad. But I'm, like I said, I'm lighthearted, but...
Yeah, and I suppose because we haven't seen your full personality out, and then when we see you being really serious, and then you're making all of these jokes. So do you think perhaps maybe that's why it's not landed as well?
Yeah, I think so. I think at the beginning of the experiment, like, you know, I'm on the honeymoon, the wedding, I'm all dead jokey, I'm bubbly, I'm fun, I'm excited, and then I just go, woo. And then I get to go on couple swap with Leisha, and I realise, oh, this is what I want. This is fun. This is lighthearted. This is... You know, it's not Leisha, I don't want to be with Leisha, but I wanted that from my relationship. I wanted Lee to be more open and more fun and spontaneous and do things, you know, on our days off, let's go and do something together. She didn't really want to do things with me. So, yeah, I think that's what I was really missing in a relationship. Not Leisha, absolutely not. She's like a bat out of hell. I couldn't be with her. Love her to death, but she's 1,000 miles an hour. But I wanted that lightheartedness from Lee that I didn't get.
Mm-hmm. And obviously you mentioned there that Rebecca's one of your closest friends. Who else did you form really good friendships with?
Kia, Nelly, Maeve. To be honest, a lot of them in there I'm quite close to. We are really lucky with this year. I know there's other years where people haven't got on and stuff like that, but I know there's a bit of a Julia Ruth saga and whatever, but other than that, we all really did get on. You know, it was a nice bunch of people that they've picked for that experiment.
Definitely. And is everything I know you weren't really part of the whole Julia Ruth saga, as you say, but is the thing squashed? Has everyone kind of moved on?
I think everyone's moved on, yeah. I mean, we all came out of there at the end of April, beginning of May. It was kind of a long time ago, and we're watching it all again now. It's all resurfacing, obviously, but I don't think anyone holds any grudges or anything like that.
Good, good. And then just finally, what was the best piece of advice that any of the experts gave you on the experiment?
Ooh. Maybe to allow the other person to sit in their feelings and not me trying to make everything okay. Because what I do tend to do is I don't like confrontation. I don't really like when someone else is feeling sad. Like, I want them to be happy. I want them to, what have I done? I'm sorry, la, la, la. And I'm probably a little bit too much like that. So I think it was Paul. I think he said to me, you need to let Lee sit in her feelings and not try and make everything okay straight away. And it does, it's true, because I am like that. It is important to let someone just feel what they're feeling and maybe not just try and brush it under the carpet and make sure everything's okay. So that. And then the one piece of advice that I don't take from Paul, I hope he watches this, is he said, I can't go to bed on an argument. I don't think it was shown, actually. But Lee used to like going to bed if we'd had an argument. And I'm like, no, let's have a hug, like, we're okay. I don't like that because I've been told not to do that all my life. And Paul said, no, you can go to bed on an argument. I don't believe it.
But you're not taking that?
I'm not having
it. Fair enough.